All right, these are the solutions to the integer plotting points, and certainly for some of you this will seem very, very simple, and for others maybe you just never really got it when you were in middle school. Either way, it doesn't matter. Take these, and hopefully they encourage you in whatever way they can. So first one we here have 24 plus 35. Something like this, you may want to go 4 and 7 makes 11. You carry that 1 over, and 2 plus 3 plus that 1 you carried over would make 61. All right. That's one way to do it. Obviously, you can kind of think maybe 20 and 30 is 50, 4 and 7 is 11, 50 plus 11 gives you 61. Again, may seem very simple and elementary, but we want to try to work on those little tricks. Like this one, 87 minus 19. If I'm doing that in my head, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 87 minus 20, which is easier. That's going to give me 67. But 19 is one less than that, so I'll just add that 1 back to it, and it gives me 68. Okay. Now, certainly you're welcome to do it the old-fashioned way, and I'm sure your parents would have, told you this is how they were taught before all this goofy math came about. But either way, it doesn't really matter, right? As long as you can kind of feel confident in doing that. Same thing here, negative 15 plus 38. I want to think of that as 38, and then you're going to take 15 away, right? This negative 15 we're taking away from. So if I'm thinking about that, 38, take away the 10 would be 28, take away the 5 would be 23, right? Or again, you can kind of do it that way, and that works too. Over here, I've got 410 take away 520. So obviously, we're going to get a negative answer for this one. If I think about going the other way, maybe taking 410 away from 520, 400 take away from the 500 would give me 120. With the 10 taken away would be a 10. I end up with 110 difference between the two. And since I'm taking more away than I had, the negative 110 would be my answer. Again, you could just do this, get the 110, and then understand that we're taking more away, so we're going to be negative with our answer. For something like this, negative 21, take away negative 45. When we take away something negative, that's a good thing. Think about in your life when something negative is taken away from you, that you're happy about that. That's a positive. So anytime we see this take away a negative, that's something we can just turn into a positive right away. And so now I've got 45 positive. I'm taking 21 away. That's kind of how I'll look at it. And that's going to leave me with 24 then as an answer. Again, there's a couple different ways you can think about that. If you're more comfortable with something else, by all means, but that's kind of how I like to think of it. Same thing here, this negative 64, we're adding negative 18, so we're adding something negative. So that's going to bring us down. So we're at negative 64. We're not going to go up to a higher positive number. We're going to actually go down to something more negative. If this was negative 20, then this would give us all the way to negative 84. So again, thinking just in my own head how I think about it, I think, well, if I gave it negative 20, that would be negative 84, but we're too short of that, so we're going to add 2 back to it, and it gives me a negative 82. Right, that's kind of how I like to think about it. You are your own person, so if you want to add those together, make the answer negative, by all means that works. All right. And then our final one here gave us a bunch of fractions, and we're just supposed to put a decimal kind of by or dot kind of where they are. So 2/9, think about like 3/9 is 1/3, 2/9 is a little less than 1/3. So if I'm between 0 and 1, 1/3 would be like right about here. So I'm going to say about 2/9 is maybe roughly there. Okay, 11/3, if I think about that as a mixed number, I can put 3 into 11 3 times, and there'd be 2 left over. So 11/3 is the same as 3 and 2/3. So if I go to 3 and then I go about 2/3 of the way towards 4, I'll be right about there. Okay. Negative 13/6, again, 6 goes into that 2 times with 1 left over. So if I go to negative 2 and then about 1/6 of the way, roughly right about there, is where that one's going to be. Negative 5/2 is negative 2.5. So if I go to negative 2 and then about halfway there, I get that one. And then 16 divided by 4 is 4. So this is just negative 4. I'll put a dot right on the negative 4 there. Okay. So again, that shouldn't feel too hard. Hopefully this worksheet was just a good refresher, kind of easy start into our class before we get into the algebra next week.